Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, go.
We are the nation of domination.
What is up? What is up, Eagles Nation? It's your boy BIRDGANG 31 in the building. How you guys doing today? Welcome, my brother Darius Dalton. How you been, my guy? It's been a minute.
Boy, it's been a minute, but hey, birds are back, my dude. And honestly, that puts us all in a nice, good, bubbly spring kind of feeling out there. Even though it's only preseason, at the end of the day, we are just ecstatic to just see our birds, see the wings on that helmet. Just to be back out there on that football field. For me, it's really the only time we get to go ahead and just watch the team stress-free. You know what I mean? Not even caring about the results. Whether we win, whether we lose, we can still go ahead and go to sleep at night and get a full night's rest without not thinking too much of the game because it's only preseason. Let's go ahead and enjoy this time.
Man, it's been a minute, but tell me, how'd you like the draft? Who you looking at from the draft class that you're really excited about? Everybody want to say, Carter, Nolan Smith. We got Ringo. Steen's over there making a push at that line spot, even though I think Jurgens is going to lock down that right guard spot. Tell me how you feel about it.
Yeah, so to be honest, I'm really, really happy on how we just kind of just transitioned and started going after some of these SEC guys these last several years. You're going to Devontae Smith and Landon Dickerson, and that continued on from last year with Jordan Davis and the Kobe Dean, and then now it continued again this year with the Jalen Carters, the Tyler Steens, the Nolan Smiths, so the Kelly Ringo. I'm really liking how we're really actually attacking these power schools, because at the end of the day, it's just like, yeah, these are the top of the line kind of players, so we might as well go ahead and put them on our team. That being said, when it comes to this draft class on who I want to go ahead and see showcase themselves out there, I would like to go ahead and peep maybe Sidney Brown. I know that the safety depth, it's all up in the air after our starters, and I would like to go ahead and see who else can go ahead and really step in there and showcase themselves. I'm a big fan of our offensive line, Tyler Steen. I'm a really big fan on our depth. So, if he's able to execute a few good blocks. It's really comforting to have that depth in there, just in case whoever goes down. God forbid Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens gets hurt. Now we know Tyler Steen could go ahead and fill in the void efficiently as well. So, it's those guys. Obviously, Jalen Carter, I'm pretty sure he's going to be limited just because we've been hearing he's been having an outstanding camp. So I'm not trying to get too excited for Jalen Carter just yet. Nolan Smith will be someone to go ahead and watch as well. But for me, it'll be Sidney Brown, Tyler Steen. How about you?
Man, it's all about Nolan right now, man. Nolan Smith has just put an impact on my life. It feels like ever since he was drafted, what he said
On your life?
You know what I'm saying? What he said at the draft, you
Right.
you want to win, he doesn't care what he says when he's on TV, to how he, was that Chris Long show? He was talking on there, the last couple of interviews. He just got so much energy, so much excitement, and he's making plays, and he's young and understanding what you got to do to be a pro. When you get drafted, you spend your off season instead of just working out, or trying to stay around the building or try to just, go look around town. This guy was out with some of the best pass rushers in the NFL, learning his craft, getting better before he hit his first pro game. It's like when you do things like that, it's like that just shows how bad he wants it. He wants to make sure everybody knows he should have been a top 10 pick, not, a
The
bottom.
fact, yeah, the fact that he dropped to 30, that was just unbelievable. And I mean, obviously, look, we've had our fair shares of surpassing obvious stud, obvious talent. Obviously, we like to go ahead and go back to the Arthega-Whiteside, DK Metcalf draft, where we just passed on the obvious talent, the obvious stud that was there, just because of just whatever personal issues he might be dealing with. Nonetheless, though, for me, it's just like enough with the over analyzing. If these guys are obvious studs, if these guys are stars in the making, just go after it. You know what I mean? Eventually, everybody's going to go ahead and handle themselves. I know everybody had I like to go back to the Deshaun Jackson situation where, for one, we always knew he has behavioral issues, but Andy Reid took a chance on him, and whatever beef he had with Chip Kelly that led him to his departure, at the end of the day, Deshaun Jackson still ended up being a 10 plus year veteran in the NFL, despite the behavior concerns. So my thing is Nolan Smith, we didn't hear about any behavior concerns. I'm just overall just speaking on behalf of if the obvious talent is there, regardless of what you see, what you hear, or he might be a step behind, whatever the case may be, just take that chance. Take that chance.
Yeah. And I want my football player to have some attitude, have some problems.
Right.
I'm saying he's gonna be out there, he's gonna be physical, especially on the defensive side. I think the offensive side, you want the smart, cerebral, well spoken, good guy on your offensive side. But on the defensive side, you want dogs. You know what I'm saying? I remember hearing someone say, I want with the Deion Sanders, he was like, I want the kid that don't have a daddy at home. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That dog that got anger issues that want to go out there and rip people's heads off. That's what I want on my defense. My linebacker better be nothing short of Ray Lewis. That's what kind of attitude you want out there. When you got a linebacker and the intensity you want for your defensive players. So, I think we definitely did a good job. Like I said, I want to see. Let's go with one of these receivers, man, because I've been hearing a lot about these receivers. I know they're not rookies, but Nagata, I keep hearing his name come up. Ozzy's, trying to take Quez's spot at the 3. How do you think this receiver core is going to shape out?
So I think that we have our top 3 for sure. We get the AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and Quez Watkins. Even though I think that Quez Watkins, he for sure should not be taking any steps back, because I feel like last year was a disappointing year for us Quez fans that were hoping that he could light up the field and really stretch that field. I know we saw that big touchdown against the Minnesota Vikings. After that, it all kind of just dwindled from there. Contributed in some key losses, like only several losses. We only lost a handful of games last year, but the Washington game where he caught that big pass and then just fumbled, and then even the Dallas game when who was it, Trayvon Diggs, or I'm not sure who, just kind of stripped the ball away from him for that interception, which was a big turnover. So for me, those are the plays I'm remembering from last year from Quez Watkins, more bad than good. That being said, I still think that he is going to be a sort of lock that number 3 spot. As far as the how do we say that guy's name, the receiver's name, Alamidi?
Yeah, they call him Ozzy.
Ozzy, that's what we say, Ozzy. Yeah, Ozzy, he should be fine. I think that that's a pretty good depth signing there. For some reason, we're still holding on to this Greg Ward. Cat. You know, we like him. I'm pretty sure he's going to be bouncing, being number 5 practice squad. But if he's at number 5 or practice squad, that's fine by me. It seems like that's just someone that we like to have in the facility. He just seemed, but he has that attitude as well. He's just someone that we always just kind of just root for just because of just his work ethic alone. But you know, Devin Allen, I know that he has that speed. I think that I want to go ahead and see that over the top speed when it comes to some of these depth guys, because yeah, AJ Brown is a home run hitter. Devontae Smith, he's a good possession receiver. And I think that, you know, Quez Watkins, we're trying to make him that speedster. We're trying to go ahead and make him that over the top, blow the coverage of the secondary. But again, he's kind of inconsistent when it comes to it. So for me, it's just, you know, Devin Allen, he has good speed. Deion Kane possibly as well. So it's several guys that I like to go ahead and peep that. You know, we'll see. I know that this Joseph Nada guy, he's also having a solid camp. So yeah, we'll see who steps up, because yeah, the receiver depth outside of Devontae and AJ Brown, it's like, woo, it goes here and then here. You know what I mean? It ain't too. Yeah, it's a big drop off there. So
but then you look at see. Like you got Goddard, so that means that's 1. You know, with the new running back Swift, that's 2. You know what I'm saying? That's 2 more people before you even get to you. So you're really like the 5th receiver when you're the 3rd receiver on our team.
Yeah. And I was going to say, I know I like some of our tight ends too. You know, I think that Dan Arnold, he had some good moments in Jacksonville. Tyree Jackson, I was hoping that we could go ahead and see him showcase more last year, but he done blew out his knee. So that was a bummer. But I would like to go ahead and see how Tyree Jackson, with that size, 6'7", 250, I know that we want to go ahead and showcase that as well. So, and also Cal Katera been making he made several solid receptions last year. I made what we've seen throughout last year. So I know we also go through our tight end depth before we really go into receiver 4 or 5, you know? So yeah, Eagles, they that's what we love about this team. That's what we love about this offense is it just expands us everywhere. You know what I mean? It's wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 will get the love. Tight end 1, tight end 2 will get the love. RB1, RB2, RB3 will get the love. So it's just a whole, just weapons galore for us.
And I think that's what really makes our team so dangerous. We're so balanced. You know, when everybody's trying to compare, you know, my boy Hurts, I told you Hurts could be that guy. My boy Hurts. You know, everybody trying to compare him to other quarterbacks, and I think it's like it's not fair how people compare him. You know, like he doesn't have to do anything. If he wants to run it, he can run it. You know, it's like it's an at-will offense. Like whatever you're gonna give me, I'm gonna take. You know, whatever you're gonna give me, I take. You want to try to stop the run, I'll pass all over you. You want to try to stop my pass game, I run all over you. So it's whatever you're gonna give me. And when you have that many weapons on the football field, man, that many weapons, it's like how can you stop this offense? I really think this offense is gonna hit another level this year and probably be the most explosive offense in the league.
Yeah, I mean, to go ahead and really just even solidify the offense, I mean, you got great coaching and most importantly, a great offensive line. So we just named a bunch of weapons. And on top of that, we have an established franchise quarterback in Jalen Hurts who just continues to get better and better year in and year out. But on top of that now, you have great coaching and the best offensive line in football. For the first time in a long time, and I said this a couple videos ago, I said for the first time in a long time, I'm actually really looking, and I think that the defense is going to be good. It has all the makings to be a top 5 defense for sure. But all these years, I've always had the defense to be the identity of the team. I think this is the first time now that we're really emphasizing on the offense and for the offense to be the true identity of this team. And you got to understand, look, these last 2 Super Bowls we done played in is hair pulling, 41-33, 38-35. We got to go ahead and score these games now. We got to score damn near 40 points. Eagles are averaging, think about, we've had these last 2 Super Bowls, Eagles are averaging 38 points, and we're 1-1. If you think about it, we had 2 Super Bowls, we're averaging 38 points in these Super Bowls. You think that we'll be 2-time champs, right?
Right.
Nah, we only just won once just because you got the Chiefs and that Patrick Mahomes offense as well. So it has to start shifting towards that now. You know, I've always felt like, I think defense gets you there. I would say defense wins championships because it comes down to who's going to go ahead and make the play and who's going to go ahead and force a turnover. Although the offense was superb, it was that one turnover that ended up being the deciding factor, despite how great the offense is, because you know the Chiefs are not going to stop scoring. So it's like the least you want to go ahead and do is give that team any type of points or any opportunity. That being said, again, we're over here going into these shootouts in the Super Bowl. Offense has to be the identity, and we need this offense to go ahead and put up some points for us.
Dude, I am so happy you said that because I agree. I fully agree. I think this year's gonna be like last year, like you said, we were chasing sack glory. The most sacks ever in the season. That defense was kind of leading the way. All the turnovers, all the big name players getting sacks. You have Red come over with 16 sacks. Boom. You got Sweat 11. BG double digit having the best career of his life. Hargrave with 11 in the middle. It's like you had all this attention on the defense, even though the offense played really well. They're one of the most efficient offenses. Like you said, one more year with Devontae, AJ, Goddard, and Hurts connection. That one more year of that being stronger. One more year of freaking this offensive line gelling together. We only missed Sayamalu, which, I really feel like Cam Jurgens is probably going to be an upgrade as opposed to a downgrade at that right guard position. So it's go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, I'm glad that you just mentioned the whole Sayamalu case because I think Sayamalu was really good, but again, that's the emphasis on the damn offensive line and how Howie Roseman always makes sure we have great offensive linemen and defensive line. We're always good and stacked on both sides of the football. So that's why it's just like, man, as much as losing Isaac Sayamalu is a key factor, but it's like, yeah, but we still have Cam Jurgens and Suopeta is always in the rotation and now we just drafted Tyler Steen. We're making sure that Isaac Sayamalu is not a big loss. I applaud Howie. I applaud Jeff Stoutland for that as well. They're making sure we lost a big offensive line. We lost a key factor in that offensive line. However, we got 3 guys that could go ahead and fill in that void. We'll go ahead and see who's the best out of that bunch because all 3 guys are capable of being starters elsewhere. Suopeta is capable of being a starter elsewhere. Cam Jurgens is capable of being a starter elsewhere. And even Ricky Tyler Steen is capable of being a starter elsewhere.
Yeah, facts. I really think, like you said, like it's going to hit the next greatest show on turf type. Because everybody keep talking about the schedule being harder, so maybe we won't win as many games as we did last year or we end up right around the same amount of games last year. And I think we got better on offense and more experience on offense. And I think we should win more games. I got us going 15-2. One more game than last year. I don't care about the talent. We were better than all these teams last year. I don't care that they have better records. We were better than these teams, last year. So we blew out. Most of our games weren't even close. Remember last year watching the game? Most of them weren't even close. Some of the close games weren't even really close. We blew them out by halftime in the second quarter. We blew them out. We go vanilla on offense and defense. They scored some touchdowns to make the score look a little bit closer to what it really was. We were destroying teams last year.
For me, I absolutely agree. And it's like, if you think about it, even half the games we lost, we didn't even have our starting quarterback. Just to go ahead and set the record straight, we didn't even have Jalen Hurts for half the games we lost. And then you talk about the 2 games we have lost with Jalen Hurts. That Washington game, we had like 4 turnovers. You know what I mean? It was just one of those bad day at the office games, and we still barely lost that game. It had to take a BS rep in the passer call for them to go ahead and win that game. That's what it needed to go ahead, and that's what it came down to, despite us having 4 turnovers. And it was just, like I said, ball was just not falling in our favor that game. And then you look at the Super Bowl, we don't fumble. We don't give up that touchdown. We win. You know what I mean? Plain and simple. Or, we don't give up. We don't give up I don't even know because that offense was actually scoring at will second half, because I was saying that the big Kadarius Toney punt return was pretty big because our special teams came up short. But nonetheless, though, I mean, you take away our one mistake, our one turnover, we beat the Chiefs. So that's just what it comes down to. It's essentially coming down to us beating ourselves, and that's what happened in these games last year. Again, they can go. We could lose to Gardner Minshew. I don't even count those games because it didn't even matter at the end of the day. We still got the number 1 seed and we still made it to the Super Bowl. So those games really didn't even matter. I'm only looking at the games that we lost with our starting quarterback, Jalen Hurts. And I see both games and I'm like, yeah, well, 4 turnovers against Washington, you're probably going to end up losing. And that there's only 1 turnover that happened in the Super Bowl, and it was a fumble, scoop and score, which was a swing, which just Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, so you can't give them any points. So, that's, you take that 1 touchdown that they have, we win the Super Bowl. So that's it. It's just a matter of shooting ourselves in our own foot. We have to avoid that this season. Every team is beatable, if you ask me, even the Chiefs in Kansas City, because damn it, we still had a chance to beat them as well.
Yeah, I want to beat the Chiefs so bad. Ever since Big Red left, we have not beat them.
I'm
you know,
tired of him.
and it's getting ridiculous.
I'm,
Like,
I'm I'm sorry, but yeah, sorry to interrupt. By the way, I'm
no
just
worries.
we talk about Big Red and Andy Reid. I'm not gonna lie, I start rolling my eyes when it comes to him because I'm like, dude, you know now he is. The Eagles are 0-2 when Andy Reid is coaching in the Super Bowl. 0-1 when we faced the Patriots when he was our coach, and
Mm-hmm.
then obviously he beat us as a Chiefs head coach last year. So he is the reason why we've lost 2 Super Bowls at this point in time. And he gave the Chiefs 2 Super Bowls. Andy Reid, go get out of here, man.
No more big.
I appreciate you turning the Eagles into a competitive team, but at the end of the day, you didn't win nothing with us. All right, you didn't do anything for us at the end of the day. We were still a ringless organization by the time you departed. And now the fact that you beat us in the Super Bowl, the fact that, you couldn't win a Super Bowl for us, you're helping the Chiefs now win these Super Bowls. I'm so turned off of Andy Reid. I'm done with him.
I just want to beat him so bad, man. So let's talk about Jalen Hurts, man. You see, top 100 players came out. He was number
Right.
3. Do you think that's fair? Do you think he should be higher? 'Cause I personally think he should be 1. For real. 'Cause he's a triple threat quarterback ever to play in the
Right.
NFL. I think he should be 1. Stats
Yeah,
up. Like he's elite in passing now. After last year, maybe not, but this year he's elite in passing and he's elite in rushing as a 4 quarterback. And when you put those two things together, he got stats, he got some numbers, and he doesn't have the turnovers of a Patty Mahomes. He doesn't have turnovers of a Burrow, whatnot. Even though he was ranked higher than Burrow, I'm just saying, like, people are trying to say he's not better than Burrow either. I'm just saying, like, he don't have the turnovers, and he keeps the ball safe, and he's efficient at both things. He don't fumble. He got high yards in both, and he's a very efficient guy. So I think, it's a 1A, 1B thing where Jalen Hurts 1A and Patty Mahomes 1B. But Patty's ceiling. We don't even have a clue. If he takes another jump from last year, what is it? What is it? That was last year. How much better can you really get? Second in MVP, second in All Pro, Pro Bowler. Like got all the accolades in last year. So another jump. If he makes the same kind of jump, you're talking about elite, best quarterback ever type things.
I as much as I would, as much as I agree with everything that you have just said in regards to just his progression and how he continues to just improve as an overall passer, and because for me that's honestly was like my biggest key take was on Jalen Hurts, my biggest observation. We obviously know how athletic he is. We obviously know how efficient he could go ahead and utilize his legs and run and get those rushing touchdowns, get those rushing yards when necessary. But when it comes down to the NFL, we want to see how these guys progress as a passer, and that's what separates him from Lamar Jackson, where Lamar Jackson will give you great regular seasons, but when it came down to the postseason, each time Lamar Jackson has sputtered because they're putting more pressure on making him play quarterback, in which we have seen Jalen Hurts go toe-to-toe and outperforming Patrick Mahomes. He outperformed Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl last year. Look at the stats, look at the numbers, don't lie. We've seen him do it all. That being said, at the end of the day, winning still counts. You know what I mean? And I'm still going to go ahead and put Pat Mahomes because he still ended up winning that game. He had, over 5,000 passing yards, over 40 touchdowns. Sure, he has some interceptions issues, but their offense is lives and dies by Patrick Mahomes' arm. Meaning that the Eagles, we could rush, you know what I mean? We could transition the offense to be a running back by committee and run for over 150 yards, and some days we'll go ahead and be passing. So our offense is much more fluid and much more spread out as opposed to the Chiefs, where it's solely on Patrick Mahomes. So that's why for me, sometimes the interception and turnover issue is,
He throwing more balls, right? Because we know
Right.
what Andy Reid did. He threw himself out of Philadelphia.
Right.
And he didn't want to run the ball. Same with Dougie P. You won a Super Bowl. You thought you just go. You wrote a book. You threw yourself out of Philadelphia.
Right.
Like that itself, like even to think, like we took Jalen Hurts had a second-year coach or first-year coach. You know what I'm saying? Like when he performed at this level. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a second-year coach. Last year was their second year together. When he performed at this level. It's like you don't have a Hall of Fame coach that can throw the ball 60 times a game because he does know. He's been around the league for so long. He knows all the cracks and, all the weaknesses of every single defense. You had a newer coach out there, and you still put up respectable passing numbers and was still, like, more efficient with less interception. And you still, like, had, like, 150, 200 less attempts throwing the ball. You know what I'm saying? You add those numbers up, just like how people want to give him the little edge. Oh, he can have a couple more turnovers because he threw the ball more. Well, I could say, well, Jalen's efficiency and lack of interceptions and turnovers should give him credit for not throwing the ball that much because he was running the ball. Patty Mahomes don't got no. I think if you total up all the yards Patty Mahomes has rushing, Jalen did that in his first year and a half. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's way old past that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jalen is up there in the thousands of passing. Patty Mahomes been in the league for like 7 years, and he barely even has like 1,300 yards rushing. Jalen can do that in a season if he wants to. Like that kind of weapon on the offense that you control. Not only do you control the secondary with your darts, but you control the linebackers. The linemen don't even want to rush you so much because they know you can take off and run the football. That's different. To me, that's a different danger than the Patty Mahomes.
I mean, yeah, I think it's all the style of quarterback on who they have. At the end of the day, if I look at Patrick Mahomes, I'm going to go ahead and look and rely on him to pass 50 times a game. Whereas for Jalen Hurts, where I'm like seeing, okay, well, he's definitely athletic and he is definitely an athlete, and I can go ahead and utilize his rushing attack as well. So I'm going to go ahead and balance the offense a little bit more if Jalen Hurts is running my offense. At the end of the day, yeah, it is 1A, 1B, but if we're going back down to the discussion in regards to, how do I say, when it comes down to who's the overall best player, I'm going to have to give it to just Patrick Mahomes, just because, again, he's now a 2-time Super Bowl champ. He lost Tyreek Hill. He lost Tyreek Hill, and everybody thought, even Tyreek Hill, and everybody was like, well, we're going to really see the Chiefs offense get exposed. And they end up winning the Super Bowl after losing their best receiver, the Tyreek Hill, the guys that can go ahead.
Guy has always been Kels, though. That's why Kels has the best tight end numbers ever. It's his. Tyreek Hill would be like if Quez Watkins were to have a huge year this year and say he had like 1,200 yards. You know what I'm saying? Like this year, because that would be like a Tyreek Hill type guy where he has his favorite guy. I think Kels has always been Patty Mahomes' favorite guy. Got him out of trouble all the time. You know what I'm saying? That was his go-to guy. Tyreek Hill just blew the top off the defense, and he was just able to launch it up to him, some deep balls because he was so fast. He's a cheetah, and they replaced him with Pro Bowl receiver. Juju Smith, whether you like him or not, he's a Pro Bowl receiver. He's had
Tyreek Hill had 1,700 receiving yards last year with the Dolphins, bro. He had 1,700 receiving yards, bro. Juju Smith ain't touching that. He
never did that in KC, though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he was more of a 1,200, 1,500-yard receiver. But at the end of the day, Juju Smith-Schuster still ain't touching Tyreek Hill. Juju Smith is C tier. Tyreek is A tier. Juju Smith-Schuster.
They did that one star, then they added Juju, and then who else? There was another receiver they added over there.
Exactly. We don't even know who the damn receivers are.
There's Tony. No, they drafted that rookie receiver. That Pachero running back. No one thought he was going to be good. He was good in the run and the pass for them last year. And they still had a good offensive line. They still had a receiving tight end in the game, and Travis Kelce.
What ends up happening, and sorry to interrupt, I think what it is just I think that the Chiefs, and this is why I feel like a lot of teams should really what they did is go off of the Bill Belichick, Tom Brady book. Obviously, Tom Brady, for the most part, we all will say he's the greatest quarterback of all time. But what kept it consistent with Tom Brady is because he's always had a tight end, whether it was, a Gronk, or in his early days, obviously he had a murderer as well. But yeah. And then whatchamacallit. So they've always kind of established a tight end system, making sure that these quarterbacks have a legit tight end, and with Travis Kelce being possibly the best tight end ever at this moment, just because of the amount of numbers, or he's for sure a Hall of Fame tight end. Maybe not best ever, but for sure a Hall of Fame tight end. If that is all that you really just need, and everybody else could go ahead and be exchangeable, my running back rotation could be exchangeable, my receivers now could be exchangeable, and all I need is just a Hall of Fame tight end, then that actually says a lot about the system that you're in and the kind of quarterback that you are. At the end of the day, again, I think that I like the way our system is set up here in Philadelphia. And I think that's us utilizing Jalen Hurts' strength. I think it goes off of just what you also prefer in a quarterback as well. If we prefer a more balanced out quarterback who could go ahead and do it through the air, a more of a dual threat quarterback is what I mean. I think Jalen Hurts is the best. And I put Jalen Hurts on top of Josh Allen because everybody wants Josh Allen and Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow to be these guys, but they have not made it to the Super Bowl just yet, and they've
Mhm.
had some talented receivers. Joe Burrow had his T. Higgins, has Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, the Joe Mixons, and he still couldn't get it done. Well, he actually made it to the Super Bowl, but again, still couldn't go ahead and get it done. The Bills, with Josh Allen had Gabriel Davis and Stephon Diggs, a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL, and he continues to fall short come playoff time as well. And Justin Herbert, I mean, we're talking about a quarterback who blew a 27-0 lead with Mike Williams, Austin Eckler, and Keenan Allen. So, I feel like those quarterbacks have had their chance to really showcase themselves. Joe Burrow, he could go ahead and put him up there because, yeah, he did beat Patrick Mahomes and almost beat him again in the playoffs this last year. So I say, yeah, he's definitely a top 3. But at this point, I see what Jalen Hurts has done and how he continues to go ahead and progress. That's where I put him at number 2. Mahomes is obviously number 1 just because at the end of the day, I'm always going to go ahead and put the championship above everything else. I'm always going to put that Super Bowl above everything else, regardless on how good of a season these guys have. It's just who comes down to winning that game.
Yeah, I get you. I get it. Like I said, I'm not gonna ever be mad at the one that chooses Patty Mahomes over. I just try to make the case for Jalen of why I believe he's number 1. If you like Patty more and anybody else likes Patty more, that's cool. Like maybe it is a little homerism because our quarterback is that great. He's on our team. But it's the second part of it is just we don't know his ceiling yet. We know Patty Mahomes' ceiling. We know his ceiling already. He's been in that, prime of his career already. And Jalen Hurts is just entering the beginning. We don't even have a clue. If he gets, say, 2 years down from now, like I think within his 5-year contract, he's winning 2 Super Bowls. He's just that good. He's changed the game just that much. Like the revolution of Jalen Hurts to me, it's like the revolution of Peyton Manning when he came to the league and he started calling his own plays. You know,
Yeah.
like that's how big of a difference it is. It's gonna take the league that long to be able to really adjust to it. Because everybody thought after that first year, okay, let me see it again. And what he do?
Right.
Double up on what he did the year before and play that much more better, that much more explosive. Lead the league in in the pocket percentage, quarterback percentage, lead the league in big explosive plays, running and passing. He's like, come on, he's doing his thing at an even higher level. And I think just every year goes by, it's just gonna be that much more where he spreads away. And the defense is gonna really. It's like we have run such a simple offense that's like I don't really know if it can be stopped. Because it's not that we're doing such a difficult thing. We're just playing, simple football, making them let them read that, make easy reads and get rid of the football. So,
Yeah, it's his again will to get better. We've seen him in the spotlight being a freshman at Alabama, where we just thought this was probably going to be your cliche, Blake Sims kind of quarterback. Just they're just going to go. They're just in a very good program, very good school program. They're just going to be a running quarterback at best, and they're going to fizzle when they step into the NFL. Like Troy Smith. But no, we actually saw him become an efficient passer at Oklahoma, and where he actually showcased I could also pass too. Translate into the NFL, same thing. We saw him progress as a passer, so he continues to get better year in, year out. So that's why we don't know where the ceiling for Jalen Hurts is, because he continues to show us time after time, year after year. He continues to show us I'm willing to get better, and I am going to get better. I'm willing to get better, and I am going to get better. So for me, that is very admirable. I do believe that he has. I do believe he has the best mindset. We have the best quarterback room in the NFL. I'm telling you, you spooked Carson Wentz. It was still Carson Wentz's team when we drafted him, even though I'm gonna say no. But I felt like at the end of the day, Carson Wentz was still deemed as a starting quarterback. And the minute Jalen Hurts stepped into that quarterback room and that locker room, you felt his presence. You felt that pressure. That's what Carson Wentz felt, that pressure. And then lo and behold, he ended up having his worst season ever as a pro. And it's just like, yeah, man, the kid was just too overwhelming. It's uncomfortable when you're out there struggling. Now you have to go back to a sideline where you have a kid that's just like, I'm learning. And you always just saw how Jalen Hurts kept his demeanor throughout his rookie season. I'm learning. Okay. I'm seeing. Ooh, just. He always had that face of like, ooh, just wait till I get out there. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna show him. And then he steps out there, and it's like one of my favorite games was his first start against the Saints, and then you following up that following week against the Cardinals as a rookie going toe to toe.
Yeah.
And this is the dumpster fire team that he took over, but he made the end of the 2020 season exciting. You know what I mean? He made the end of that dumpster fire team. Peterson on his way out, Wentz on his way out, and he made it exciting to watch at the end. And that I always love that memory of Jalen Hurts. And then now he gets his first full year as a starter, and in a year where, or not in a year, in a league where quarterbacks are coming in and making an impact. Like I said, we're talking about what we were just talking about Patrick Mahomes. You know, his second year he throws 50 touchdowns. You know, or we see the impact Josh Allen takes their second year, or I think Josh Allen took his third year or whatever. But quarterbacks are kind of coming in and becoming efficient. Even Jared Goff, you know, the following season when he had Sean McVay, that second season, on Carson Wentz's second season as well. These quarterbacks stepping into year two, we're having these tremendous years. So I think that the way how the league has shifted put a lot of expectation on Jalen Hurts to just really play extremely well compared to some of these sophomore year performances that we've seen. But all in all, and this is where I've had to go ahead and learn throughout my fanhood with and my relationship with Jalen Hurts as my quarterback as well, is where I'm seeing, well, at the end of the day, this was still a brand new team. Our best receiver was a rookie, you know, Devontae Smith, even though he still had a phenomenal rookie season, but he was still a rookie, and that was our best receiver. And, you know, we were going through Ertz, Goddard, you know, Ertz was on his way out, and we were kind of still holding on to him. And like I said, it's still a brand new team, brand new system, and we were still able to make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. We faced adversity. We were 3-6 middle of the season, 3-6, probably not even going to make the playoffs. And we went on a stretch towards the end to still become a playoff team. And then you followed up with your third season, and that's where it felt like that was a true sophomore season, because a lot of these rookies, they had the chance to start the full season as a rookie. That's why their sophomore seasons ended up being what it was, except for, like I said, the only person who had that started off that hot is Mahomes, because Mahomes, that was his first full year as a starter, that 50 touchdown season. Right. But other than that, every other quarterback, they had a full stretch of that rookie season where Jalen Hurts only had a snippet, so he was still essentially a rookie quarterback. So he stepped into last year, which more than likely you could call it his sophomore season, and took off. Now we're stepping into year number 3 or year number 4 now, but year number 3 as a full-time starter. And this, like I said, the sky's the limit. You know, the moon's the limit at this moment in time for Jalen Hurts. I'm very excited, and again, the team is poised, and the person that got me excited for this season was Jason Kelce, because he wasted no time saying, no, I want to run it back. I want to run it back. When we had Jason Kelce say, I want to run it back, I said, oh, this team is ready.
Let's jump on that defensive side of football, man. Like you said, we got a lot of good, you know, defensive line players. You know, we're at least 10 deep at the spot position. You know, which defensive guy do you think will take over as being that superstar stud? You know, he said, do you believe Jordan Davis will get respectable sacks this year? I'm going to believe that Jordan Davis is getting pigeonholed into a run stuffing defensive tackle to the point where I believe he's going to get close to double digits, if not double digit sacks this year, just because the defense have to worry about the outside. You know, they got to worry about, you know, the Reddicks, the Sweats, the BGs, you know, the Barnetts, and, you know, who else is over there? The other DTs we got.
Josh Sweat.
Yeah, to the point where they almost broke the record last year. So now you already, most people are going to think of him as a, you know, DT and run stuff in DT. So they're going to probably try to put their protection on the outside, you know, but I think his floor is like a Via Vea, you know, but his ceiling is like another level of sound, you know, like a terror in that middle. He lost 30 pounds from last year, 60 since the combine, and he looks like he's motivated to go out there and do his thing. So who do you believe is going to be that defensive tackle that takes over from Hargrave?
Let's see. Don't get me wrong. I think that the Jordan Davis, you know, I'm very excited. Obviously, Jalen Carter, what we've been hearing, I'm just now curious to see the specimen out there. I would love to see the two-headed monster between Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter both step out there. I'm glad that Fletcher Cox is still with us because you have a Hall of Famer like Fletcher Cox that could go ahead and guide these two young men, these two young bulls, and hopefully they can go ahead and give us some good reminiscent days of the Jerome Brown and Reggie White era, or even just in early 2000s when we had like the Corey Simons, the Hugh Douglas.
Yes.
It's definitely a fun time, a fun, exciting time for our defensive linemen. So for me to go ahead and stand out, let me see. I mean, can Hassan Reddick have an encore season? There's just he's like so many guys could go ahead and stand out if you ask me, but I would probably stick with our edges because when you have such a powerful interior like Jordan Davis, like Jalen Carter, Fletcher Cox, you even throw in Milton Williams in our rotation as well.
Mm-hmm.
When you have that type of rotation, that's going to go ahead and plug up. The guards will be crashing down. Obviously, the center is going to be occupied, and that's going to really free up the one-on-ones with our tackles and the edge rushers.
Mm-hmm.
So it has all the makings for Hassan Reddick to have another encore season, or for Josh Sweat to go ahead because they might be having a tight end now, Chip Hassan Reddick, which could go ahead and leave Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham, and I know because for me he's become a bit lackluster for me, but there is a reason that this team still wants to see Derek Barnett showcase himself. They're still holding on. And for me, I kind of see it. I kind of understand why, because I do think that sometimes, although Barnett has given us a lot of frustrating moments, I've always seen him he's always a step or two always away. He's always a step or two away.
Mm-hmm.
I think I kind of like his dirty play. I think that we need to have a bit of that nasty mindset that adds a bit of that swagger to the defensive line. And Derek Barnett is very much so a dirty player. It gives me a bit of a Michael Bennett reminiscing kind of vibe. But
Right.
I would like to go ahead and see him take that Michael Bennett kind of step and just have a random breakout year. And hopefully we can get like a random 11 sack season from Derek Barnett. Again, there's a reason why. For some reason, this team loves him. This team don't want to let him go. I think that it was unfortunate that he blew out his knee last year. But now that you have so much artillery around, now it's like, Barnett, go ahead. This is we trying to see now. I want to see because I'm pretty sure that the line is going to be occupied with Jalen Carter, occupied with Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham. They're going to be occupied with everybody. So it's going to be one on you. I think he's going to get a lot of one-on-one opportunities whenever he has a chance to go ahead and step in there and showcase.
Yeah, I think people are sleeping on Barnett, man. Like you said, it's that mean streak, Like,
Yeah.
the only reason why I hate him because he makes some big penalties at the wrong time in games that actually cost us games.
Right.
Like if they were in first quarters of games, we wouldn't even be hating on him so much. And the fact that we expected him to come in and be the savior. But you got to realize Derek Barnett has not ever played on an Eagles defense like this.
No.
Like
No.
never. When he was drafted, breaking Reggie White's sack record, he was supposed to be the chosen one. We
Right.
drafted him to be the chosen one. He's coming to a season now where he's not even a starter.
Yeah.
He got no pressure on him at all to be great. He's not living up to no Reggie White talk no more. He's gonna be able to play a lot more free this year. I think that's really gonna boost his game up. Being able to come off the bench and make impacts. Especially in the third and fourth quarter when the starters and wore him out all season long. Now that he get to come in there and kind of like wear on them a little bit. Like it's gonna be nasty. He's a nasty player. He can stop the run really well. He just didn't get the sacks we all wanted. That's the thing. He didn't get the sacks and that costly penalties are the reason why we hate on him so much.
Exactly. So I think that this is just this has to be his make or break year in Philadelphia, because for me, again, I'm just always been so curious as to why we're still holding on to the Derek Barnett experiment. And for me, I'm just like, I'd rather just start to trust this team and see, okay, whatever they're trying to go ahead and showcase us with Derek Barnett, let's go ahead and just see what he could actually offer us. So that's just where I'm at when it comes to one of the guys on the defensive line that can go ahead and just come out of nowhere. That'll be the guy that I'll go ahead and select. Obviously, I'm also just looking to go ahead and make it an interesting topic because, part of me also just wants to obviously say Jalen Carter, just because he's just a monster. And I'm just, that's just who I'm excited for.
And I'm good with that too. But it's like when you seen the picture of Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis together, Jalen looked like he was like a high school football player, while Jordan looked like he was a pro football player. That's how much bigger he is. Like in terms of numbers too, like he's just as fast, if not faster, Jalen Carter. Like just because he wasn't known for that, he's a lot heavier in college. I think people think he can't do it. When you're around all the stars that he's been around, especially last year into the Super Bowl, you got your Dominican Sues, you got your Linval Joseph, you got your Hargrave, you got your Fletcher Costa, Milton Williams can even teach you a little something, something. Marlon can teach you a little something, something. Like when you're around those type of players, and then they push you all year long to the Super Bowl. You get there to the Super Bowl and realize that you want to be playing in this game. You want to actually have meaningful reps in a game like this, and you take the offseason, you'll drop 30 more pounds, to make sure you come back and no questions asked for him. Then I gotta give it to him because I think if not, then we would start Jalen Carter off there. I think we were not gonna start him just because we don't have to start him. I think it's the smartest way to do anything, just to walk him through it. Easy intermittent one game at a time. So like maybe by week 10, you'll see a Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis start. I don't think he's gonna take Jordan Davis' spot. I just think he might take Fletcher's spot though.
Yeah, I mean, I think that because Fletcher's about to be on his way out. You know what I mean? He probably got, might be his last year, maybe 1, 2 more years. But at the end of the day, it's all about making sure that we have a good predecessor to Fletcher Cox. And I think that that's just what it is. We lost Javon Hargrave, so now it's time for Jordan Davis to go ahead and step up and fill in that void. You had a year to go ahead and observe. You have to go ahead and year to learn off of Javon Hargrave. So that was, great mentorship, and I hope that you was able to go ahead and study, learn your lessons, and step out there and fill in that void, because Javon Hargrave is definitely a big loss. That's 11 sacks 11 sacks coming from the interior, and also a great run stuffer. I think that Jordan Davis will be much more of a. I think Jordan Davis will definitely be a better run stuffer than more of a pass rusher, and I'm only just going off of just his size alone, where if you have that interior, you're going to utilize that size to plug up the holes. And when it comes to just more passing situations, I do think he will be substituted out, because I feel like that we're going to want some speed and strength as a combination at that line. So, in passing situations, we'll definitely have the Fletcher Cox back out there along with Jalen Carter, who tends to go ahead and be more athletic with his get off, and then the Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham. We're just definitely going to have more of a pass rush set.
Yeah, I think his height, he can do this. Bat balls down.
Yeah,
Like the only guy that on our team that even compares to him is Malata. And Malata is 6'8", 360 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that'd be the only guy that's even matching your size on the team. You're just as fast as all those guys. Like that's why I really believe he's going to be able to do. Like I said, if anybody else comes up balls, I still like Marlon from last year. Tulopu was getting more second team snaps last year before he got hurt than Milton Williams or Jordan Davis. So like that's another guy from USC. You see Lufunga over there at San Francisco, all pro status. Like he can come back this year and be a stud this year. What do you think about the linebacker spot? We just got Zach Cunningham, Miles Jack. Everybody wanting Kobe Dean to be out there. You hear mixed emotions about that. How do you this core? Do you think we still need to go out there and get somebody else? Do you think we got the linebackers on the team now to do some real damage? For what they're asked for. When you got a front seven like you do, a front four like you do, and then you got a secondary like you do. The best DB corner duel in the league, and then you got Reed Blankenship, and then whatever other corner safety's going to be out there playing. We got a couple of good ones. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Do they really?
I think that. I think that at the end of the day, maybe as much as linebacker is going to be our weakest unit, I think that we could go ahead and all agree. At the end of the day, it's like, well, we're pretty talented elsewhere. You know what I mean? Let alone we still have a very talented offense that can go ahead and still lead this team as well. So all I'm looking for is just now opportunistic linebackers that just don't blow coverages, that can go ahead and just hold the middle of the field and just keep it contained there, and just don't let tight ends beat you guys. And the way how the league is kind of shifting more into just like it's kind of shying away from the tight ends. I'm trying to even look at our division. I know the Giants got Darren Waller, so he's going to be the only tight end that I'm going to be concerned of when it comes to division. Dallas, they rely on their receivers with the Gallups, with the CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cook, so they're all receivers. Same thing with Washington as well, with the Scary Terry, Curtis Samuel. And so we're definitely receiver heavy when it comes to the division. And so that being said, it does take a lot off the linebackers and much more focus on our corners, which is why, we end up with the James Bradbury and Darius Slay, great cornerback duo there with Avonte Maddox in our slot. And so, I don't know. I've always liked Miles Jack just because I grew up in Southern California, so I've watched a lot of UCLA. So I'm always a Miles Jack fan. I would like to go ahead and see him show some good moments, even some early moments that he showed when he was in Jacksonville. So it'd be nice to see there. Sean Bradley, I know he's been, here with us. It'll be nice for him to go ahead and finally step up. Take that TJ Edwards step, where TJ Edwards, he was solid. He was a great depth player, good special teams guy. And then last year, TJ Edwards became a solid linebacker for us. So I would like to go ahead and just see maybe Sean Bradley could go ahead and step up there. N'Kobe Dean, this is now his time. I feel like this is N'Kobe Dean's spot to lose at this moment. It's definitely going to be interesting to see, how we rotate it, how we utilize it. I am going to trust the defense. I'm going to trust the coaches to go ahead and put them in the best position as well. At the end of the day, we're going to need to, someone's going to go ahead and need to step up. And for me, I feel like the Eagles are now in an iron sharpened iron situation. It's such a good team all around to the point in time where, whoever's out there, whichever linebacker is going to be out there, I'm going to trust.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's going to be nice to see what they do. I really think Dean needs to be that guy, though. Because last year, he got redshirted last year. And I don't even like not hearing them be, superstar right now. The fact that you got to go out and get 2 new linebackers and bring to the squad, in the offseason like that, just because they're not sure if they have the stars they need to go out there and do it, and that's crazy, man. That's just crazy to me. I don't like it at all. I want Dean. I know he got the green dot, so that makes him the captain. But I want to see him make some damn plays. Like even tonight, I want to see him out there. Even if you want to bench the starters, guys like him, Jordan Davis, those guys that didn't really play that much last year. I want to see him play at least a quarter. Go out there and show me that you guys are ready to make plays, especially if you're not going against a number one. If you're going against the 2s or 3s or something, then go out there and show me that you're studs. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We have nothing to worry about. That you're going to go out there and do your job at a high level, So, and with Miles Jack, like you said, I'm from Cali too. I'm a USC fan, obviously. So I don't think UCLA that much. They cool or whatnot, but USC is just my team. But it's like he was a stud in college, and like I said, that first year with Jacksonville, he did pretty good. Last year, it's like he didn't really do that great, but it's like this is a place to reignite your career. What I'm saying?
We made Patrick Robinson relevant again, okay?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Then about Joseph, what I'm saying? Like, Dominican Sue looked great again, when he played with us, what I'm saying? Hargrave was on he was good, but then he had a little down season. Then we picked him up and he became, a double-digit sack type guy. We are that team because of the talent around us. The talent that we have around it makes your job that much more easier to be good. Like no one on the team should feel like they have to throw the team on their back, and that's how talented our team is. Like on defense, especially, like none of those. That's why they all got so many sacks. Because okay, well, who are they stopping right now? They're stopping me. Okay, this guy's getting a sack. Oh, they're stopping him now. I'm gonna get a sack. You know what I'm saying? Like they're trying to stop both the other guys will get a sack, and still getting a sack, still calling turnovers, still doing what you do. So I think the linebacker position. I wouldn't go out and get nobody yet. I would have to play at least 2 preseason games before I made that decision.
I would agree. I would like to go ahead and see our young talent. I would like to go ahead and see our young talent prove themselves first before we actually make any type of drastic decisions there. Again, I do like the depth signing with Zach Cunningham and Miles Jack. I do think that at the end of the day, those are going to be some solid additions that can go ahead and help fill in the void at this moment in time. And even if they end up making cuts and they end up making a team, I still think that that's going to be some solid depth linebackers to go ahead and have when season comes around. Other than that being said, it's like, I feel like we're in an iron sharpened iron situation. All units, if you ask me, is top tier all around, from the coaching staff to, from the coaching staff to the offense, all around the offense, and then even the defense. The only thing that you have to go ahead and circle will be the linebackers. But we look at our safeties possibly, maybe. But Reed Blankenship, he's turning heads. Terrell Edmonds, I think that's going to be a solid addition as well.
You think those 2 are starting? Or do you think Brown takes it by the end of preseason?
I mean, like I
I
said,
think Reed is starting for sure.
yeah,
I think next year that's
I
the
think
one.
that should be Reed Blankenship's spot. I know Sidney Brown has been having a solid camp, but for me, if you were to ask me who would be the starting safeties, it would be Terrell Edmonds and Reed Blankenship, and then we go from Sidney to Kayvon and maybe even Justin Evans
I just like
afterwards.
hearing something good about Kayvon finally.
I know, man. We've been
You
waiting for
know?
him to go ahead and start waking up. But yeah, I mean, if you ask me, I'm more worried about special teams than linebackers. That's the unit we got to go ahead. Like I remember, special teams used to set the tone.
Yeah.
We always. That's one thing I admire about the Chip Kelly era is that he really emphasized on making sure special teams was out there and they're always going to be on their A game. So that's why we saw a bunch of returns and even special teams making plays, wrapping up, and not allowing these guys to go ahead and break free. Again, the special teams they're really lackluster last year. Britton Covey had a very bad season as our returner. I know he had some good moments towards the end, but overall, still a very lackluster, mediocre return game. And then again, a big special teams cough up in the Super Bowl when Kadarius Toney returned it all the way down to the 4-yard line.
Yeah.
Our special teams failed us at that in the Super Bowl. So, and we didn't even punt that much. You know what I mean? There was not much punting going on during that game because everybody was scoring. And
Yeah.
so that is a unit that needs to step up. That is a unit, in my opinion. Again, I put that in front of the linebackers on which part of the team I'm going to circle. That's going to go ahead and have my concern. I know we want the defense to be, the all around top tier defense, but that's why I'm emphasizing it's an offensive league. You look at these Super Bowls that we've been in, 41-33, 38-35. At that point in time, defense can only do so much for me if it has to take us scoring 40 points to win the Super Bowls now at this moment in time. So for me, it's like, sure, if we have the linebackers we have step into the season, that's fine. I think that they'll be good. I think overall the defense is still a good unit, and this is still a top 5 defense I'm still even talking about. You know what I mean? But
Right.
we got to peep that. We have to peep that the special teams. See who's going to be our returner this year. I hope that we just don't give it to Britton Covey again because it's just like
Kevin Allen.
that's what I'm saying. Devin Allen, Deion, you know what I mean? Give it to one of these guys that can go ahead and have the potential to break away because I need the special teams to go ahead and start contributing because that's going to go ahead and help us that much more. It's only going to go ahead and make everything much more efficient in regards to our game and what we bring.
Who do you think is going to be the punter? They got the same guy, Sippos from last year, but then you got that Legatron guy over
Yeah,
there.
the Ty Zetner.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Sippos. I think Sippos was pretty decent for us. Again, we didn't really punt that much last year, so you couldn't really tell. You couldn't really tell how obvious it is. I think the only time when the punting is an issue is when you keep getting shanks or the teams keep starting off in great field position. That's when you start looking at the punter. And so for me, I'm still sticking with Sippos, but we'll see how Legatron is doing. We're gonna see how he looks during these games.
Legatron also gets you a backup kicker in case anything happens to what's her
Aaron
Elliott.
Sippos. Oh, Jake Elliott. Yeah.
So the Sippos for me is like, yeah, you say that, but it's kind of like the Quez Watkins effect. He didn't get that many passes, but the ones he dropped made it seem so big. I feel like that way with Sippos. It's like he didn't kick that ball that much, but it was like when he was kicking it, he was shaking some of them. So it's like, all right,
Yeah.
you're gonna get it together. You're gonna come back this year and play a little stronger, or And with the return game, man, I think Boston Scott did good, and I think that's the reason why we probably brought him back and keeping him because he's not going to get that many carries. Do you think? With our running back room, DeAndre Swift, Penny,
Yeah.
Trey Sermon, Kenny Gainwell. It's like that's a lot of mouths to feed, and to think that Boston Scott, like I don't put him better than any of those ones I just said right now.
Yeah, I think that. Oh, I think Boston Scott. Well, first off, I mean, I'll say this: when it's time to play the Giants, Boston Scott
Yeah.
should be our RB1. So,
Right.
that being said, I think Boston Scott is a good quality depth running back to have, and I think that he's always going to step into filling the void whenever needed, whenever necessary. I think that he's always going to go ahead and give it 110%. Hell, we were getting blown out by the Buccaneers in the playoffs, and he still broke away for that 30-yard touchdown run. You know what I mean? It's that's what Boston Scott's going to go ahead and do for you. He's still going to go ahead and go out there and still put knuckles in the dirt and give you that nitty gritty football style that we like, and it's coming from running back his size. However, I love that spirit in the locker room. But when it comes to our running back situation, DeAndre Swift, I feel like he's the overall best running back or best runner. However, Kenneth Gainwell might be the best. Might be the best. Spot to fill in with the kind of offense that we run. I think that he's definitely a good dual threat running back, meaning he could go ahead and run and catch. I think that he had a lot of good moments in the playoffs. We saw him stand out in the playoffs, actually. He was the best running back in the playoffs, to be honest, was Kenneth Gainwell. So who knows, this could possibly be the year where he took over, and it might even surprise the Philadelphia Eagles. I know that the Eagles, I know that they're probably seeing DeAndre Swift as going to be a very hard-nosed, efficient runner for us, but there's probably going to be games where Kenneth Gainwell might stand out, and he'll give you some. I don't want to go ahead and go too dramatic with it, but I hope that people understand what I'm saying. Like how Alvin Kamara is a very good, efficient runner, but also a great receiving back as well. I hope that he could go ahead and give us some kind of flashes of like that Alvin Kamara style where, good rusher, but also could be helpful tremendously in the passing game,
Yeah. It's going to be nice to see. We're going to see. I liked Swift, man. When I found out he was from Philly.
I was going to say, and we're going to see him tonight, but we'll see. I know he's been banged up these last several years, but Rashard Penny is a very solid runner, so we'll see how healthy
too?
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. I'm for that.
He lost some weight. He said since that injury, he lost some weight, so he feels a lot quicker, a lot faster than before. He was always playing. I think he said like 230 or something. Now he's like 215 or something like that. And
good. And that's all. And that's all solid muscle. That all turned into solid muscle mass there. So that's actually very exciting to hear.
Do you think that it would change Jalen's play having that running back like a Swift though? The guy that's really good. I hear he's throwing those running back wheel routes really good in practice right now. Do you think that's another dimension? Do you think we should go back to the old school Eagles where we got all these running back screens like the Westbrook days, the Shady McCoy days, even when we had Darren Sproul days where you got all these screens dialed up to let these guys get the ball in some space?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that's part of our identity. I think that when it comes to some certain organizations, there's just like something that's always going to go ahead and be a part of their identity. Like when you think about the Chicago Bears, anytime that the Bears are good, they're going to have a good defense. You know what I mean? Or anytime the Steelers are good, they're going to have a good defense. It always tends to go ahead and be the identity of these teams. And so when it comes to the identity of the Philadelphia Eagles, it's always a good defensive line. They always end up having a great defensive line and then always having running backs doing these screens. That tends to go ahead and be part of this organization's identity. So if DeAndre Swift can go ahead and be efficient on these wheel routes or on these running back screens, yes, that adds another dimension to this offense that is already top tier. And what we need to go ahead and see is just, we don't want to go ahead and become too stagnant. We want to go ahead and continue to keep a defense honest. We want to go ahead and still be as unpredictable as possible. And again, beat you in many ways. Well, the deep ball is not working today, so we're going to go ahead and work the short game where we're going to go ahead and dump off to these running backs, and they're going to go ahead and take the load of the offense. And then once you guys start buying into the bait, you got to go ahead and catch you over the top now with the deep ball to A.J. Brown or so,
Yeah, I feel you. What about these coaches? Like, which one you think is going to make, their debut and have the bigger impact? Do you think the Brian Johnson with Jalen Hurts connection is going to really take that offense to the next level because he watched the kids since high school? Or do you think it's going to be, Desai and his defense that he brings because he's a little bit more aggressive than Gannon, but kind of the same scheme, where he's going to keep that zone going, he's going to make sure nothing gets over the top of him, but he is going to do a lot more line stunting and blitzing.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that Desai is definitely going to be the one to circle here. I think that we already know the chemistry between Brian Johnson and Jalen Hurts and that relationship that they've been having for a long time. So that's nothing that ain't nothing that I'm going to be even thinking about. I already know that they're going to go ahead and go in there and do their work, and they're going to continue to get better and better and better and better. For me, it's all about that defense and how we're going to be able to adjust during these games because, when Jonathan Gannon, anytime he played against a top 10, top 15 quarterback, he always tend to go ahead and get drugged, and it was so bad. Anytime we always play, we always have to go ahead and end up being these shootouts, and it's annoying because it's just like, can we at least step up against one of these quality quarterbacks? The minute I saw the game I remember in 2021, I saw when Derek Carr had a field day against us, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh God, like we're really this mediocre against any type of starting quarterback? Like, they all have to be really bad quarterbacks in order for us to go ahead and dominate?" And for Jonathan Gannon, so for Desai, I hope that what I want to see is when we play against some of these good quarterbacks, because that's what it's going to be looking like this year. I'm actually looking at the schedule, and we have a hell of a stretch, where we play Patrick Mahomes, and then we play Josh Allen. And right after that, we play Aaron Rodgers this
Mm-hmm.
season. We play Dak Prescott, the Dallas offense. They always are good against us. They always tend to go ahead and be competitive when we play them. So, there's going to be some good quality quarterbacks on here. Tua and that Miami offense, they can go ahead and be really on. So, so it's going to really be up to the defense to see how we're going to be matching up against these good quarterbacks, because chances are we go back to the Super Bowl, most likely we will see either Patrick Mahomes, which we're going to be playing. We're going to probably be seeing a Josh Allen, who was always in the playoffs as well. We don't even, maybe the Jets turn it up with Aaron Rodgers. At the end
They
of the
will
day,
do
these
a
are
little
all
better. That's all they needed was a quarterback.
exactly. So, and then even some of the teams, the San Francisco's, I know San Francisco don't scare me because of their quarterback situation,
Mm-hmm.
but they're a team that we might see in the playoffs, as well as the Dallas Cowboys, and we're going to be competing with the Dallas Cowboys for the division, anyways. So, nonetheless, though, we're going to see how this defense adjusts. We're going to see how this defense looks against these teams. But other than that, I'm fairly confident. I think that it can't get any worse than what we saw last year, allowing 38 points in the Super Bowl.
What about this preseason game we got going on tonight? You got two of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league. They both just got paid this offseason. Jalen Hurts was the highest, paid quarterback in the league when he got his contract. Jackson got his contract. He's the highest paid. Jalen Hurts got his A.J. Brown last year, and this year Lamar gets OBJ. Tell me, which one do you think is worth the money the most? And which one do you think is going to have a better career with this new contract and the new weapons?
Um, yeah. I think that even though Lamar Jackson is an MVP quarterback, again, it comes down to how I see these quarterbacks play in the playoffs. And I think that I've seen Jalen Hurts take bigger steps as a passer when it comes down to it, and I'm not going to deny their athleticism. Lamar Jackson has quicker feet than Jalen Hurts, but
Yeah.
they're both very, very good runners. And so at the end of the day, I mean, it's either you know, pick whatever side you want when it comes to them rushing, because I think that they both put up good rushing numbers. Although Lamar is much more committed to running, because I feel like he's more limited passing as opposed to Jalen Hurts. So again, I'm always going to go ahead and favor who's a better passer. It's Jalen Hurts. That's why I'm going to say Jalen Hurts.
Nice. And which one, which team you think had the better investment? I know you said Jalen's a better quarterback, but do you think that, having a guy like, OBJ would help, Lamar Jackson hit that next level passing? Because OBJ catches everything.
Yeah, he do. But my thing is this: I just hope that OBJ stays healthy, because OBJ, ever since he got hurt, I think in 2017, it's just been so up and down for him ever since then, which has been unfortunate, because he's a hell of a wide receiver, and we've seen him make some crazy plays all throughout his career at this point in time. So I would hope that he is able to stay healthy for Lamar Jackson, because we also do want to go ahead and see Lamar Jackson finally showcase himself and get that chance. Now he has he has several more targets instead of. It's not always Mark Andrews now. Now you have an Odell Beckham Jr., Rashard Bateman. He's pretty decent for them as well. So we'll
Is it
go ahead and see.
Watson there too from the Chiefs? Sammy Watson?
Oh yeah. Sammy Watkins,
Yeah.
or
Wa-
yeah. So we'll see how he looks. I'm pretty highly doubt we're obviously not going to be seeing those quarterbacks tonight. But in regards to just in comparison, stepping into the season, we will see. We shall see. I think that
They did do a drive this first game, like one drive, just so you could, basically appease the audience. Everybody was waiting to see OBJ in that Ravens uniform and see. Because last time, what did he play it last year? Was it the last time we seen him in the Super Bowl?
yeah, last time, which was
Last time we seen him,
2021.
he was lighting it up. He was going to be the Super Bowl MVP of that game. If he
Yeah,
doesn't get hurt, forget Cup, forget all that. He was going to be the Super Bowl MVP. He was that, dominating. So you think, the league want to see that happen? Him and Bateman together, want to see if he can go out there and catch everything. Maybe give him a drive or two,
uh,
or even Jalen Hurts in this offense. We want to see it. They've been
we
practicing.
do. We do. I mean, I'm not eager to see them at the end of the day because, like I said, for me, it's all about it's all about skating through preseason and training camp as healthy as possible. I'm not the one to wanting to demand them, especially after the first preseason game. Second preseason game, though, I think everybody should take some type of snaps. They should
A
take
series tonight. One
a
series.
series.
Whether you score or not, one series, to see the offense look good again. Heck, we can score in the first play. You know what I'm saying? With AJ, submitting these boys, you call dial up the first play, boom, boom, boom. Quez Watkins, bomb over the top, touchdown, something like that. We can score fast. I just want to see one series. Give me one
Yeah.
series.
It's. I think that. I mean, yeah. I'll be holding my breath. I'll be holding my breath because again, like I don't need to see them just because I already know what they can go ahead and do. However, I mean, I get it. I understand why we want to see them too because we miss them at the end of the day. It's definitely much more coming out of like a place of like, man, I miss these guys out there. But I'd rather see them when they have the whole entire playbook, when it's not running a vanilla offense in preseason. Because what annoys me is, let's just say they go out there and they don't score a touchdown, and then everybody's going to go ahead and try to say that we're going to be taking a step back this year just because we were not scoring a touchdown on the first drive, on the first play, like how they want us to go ahead and do. And it's just going to be over analyzed when it's just like, one, it's only preseason, and two, it's a vanilla play calling. We're not going to go ahead and expose our whole entire playbook like Chip Kelly did in 2015 preseason because it doesn't mean nothing at the end of the day. So that's also the part I also like, don't want to hear from some of these folks that will try to find something to nitpick when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, Nick's not showing you nothing. Everybody's getting excited to see what kind of offense or defense the side is going to run. We're not going to know nothing until week one.
I agree.
It's the first year he's been here. He's gave us nothing. We're going to continue to get nothing. It's an advantage for our team, like you said. But I want to see some of these backup player roles. Is there any starters you want to actually see go through a drive like the younger guys? Like I wouldn't mind seeing a Jordan, like I said, Jordan Davis. I wouldn't mind seeing N'Kobe Dean. I wouldn't mind seeing maybe he's not a starter, but Calcaterra, do extended play time. Just to see these guys. They didn't really get that chance to play last year. Redshirted.
Honestly, I mean, I'm honestly going to say a guy that we're probably as much as Quez Watkins. Honestly, it's Quez Watkins. I feel like again he took a step back after that Minnesota Vikings game last year when he had that big old touchdown, and we really didn't hear much of Quez Watkins after that. So when it comes to a starter, when it comes to somebody that we see out there on the field during the regular season, it's Quez Watkins. I would like for him to kind of actually have himself like good 4 receptions for 75 yards, a couple good 20-yard gains there. You know what I mean? I'm not even asking him to go over 100 yards. It's only preseason, and he himself is probably on the snap count as well. So, but even then, though,
a Jurgens, since he was a rookie last year.
Exactly.
You started. Would you keep him in for a couple extra drives just to make sure you got that right guard spot?
Yeah. So I'll ask you this then. I mean, how we feel seeing Marcus Mariota out there? I mean, we were all demanding for him back in 2015 for that draft, thinking that he was going to be the answer to the Chip Kelly offense, and now he still found
Mariota. You know what I'm saying? He was hoping to get him.
I think that he's going to make it a little bit fun. I think that because he's obviously he's an NFL quarterback now. He's a veteran, so we've seen good moments, we've seen mediocre moments, but I think at the end of the day, it's still Marcus Mariota, and at one point we were all enamored by that name here in Philadelphia. So I think that's
the name with the Raiders last year.
He was with the Falcons. He had
the year before last when he was the year before
Raiders,
last, Raiders, right? And Carr went out for like that 3-4 game stretch. He lit it up.
That's what earned him that starting spot in Atlanta. That's when Atlanta was like, okay, we'll go ahead and give you that chance to be a starting quarterback for us when he came in, and he played very efficient with the Raiders when he stepped in. So I think I
feel like if we had him last year instead of Gardner Minshew, we win those games. That's how confident I feel about our backup now. Like
I agree. I think that Mariota is much more proven than Gardner Minshew. That's for sure. And whether we win, or I think we would have the worst we would have done is go 1-1. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? The fact that we went 0-2 at Gardner Minshew, that was a bit annoying. But however, it is what it is. At the end of the day, though, I think that we're in a nice, good, decent backup quarterback situation just in case if Hurts does go down for a game or two. I think that we're going to be putting in a quarterback that will be in a very talented offense, and his legs is still nice and fresh, still can move around, so
Mhm.
the offense could still kind of run the same because he's not limited now as a quarterback in his mobility.
What about the backup cornerback spot? You got Josh Jobe, Greedy Williams. McPherson's looking good out there. Riggs. Kelly Ringo. But there's a lot of good secondary players back there. Who you want to see? Kind of step up? Because I heard Josh Jobe right now is guaranteed to be behind either Slay or Bradbury. He's the one that's locking it up. But like, there's a lot of other
Yeah,
good names.
Josh Job, and then Zach McPherson. I want to see McPherson step up in there. Josiah Scott, Kelly Ringo, and then Greedy Williams. Obviously we like the name Greedy, so I feel like it would be nice for you to go ahead and step up just so we can go ahead and say Greedy Williams again. That name will add some fun swagger to the defense as well if he steps in and starts making plays.
He was
But
supposed to be really good too. Like he
yeah,
had a good year, didn't he? The first year, his rookie year, he was pretty good with the Browns, right? And then
yeah,
after that, kind of like fell off. I don't know, injury or whatnot. But I remember Greedy as being was supposed to be one of the next, elite cornerbacks coming out. And it's like the fact that we haven't really heard nothing from him is either Eagles are being close to the vest about the young players that are doing really good. They don't want you to, be worried about, or B,
yeah.
he's not playing that great because he was just on the Browns.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, it can all be system. Everybody plays bad when they're on the Browns, for crying out loud.
Right.
But nonetheless, though, yeah. So it'll be Zach McPherson for me. I would like to go ahead and start seeing him step in. He's about to be in year number 3, and we drafted him as a cornerback, so it'll be nice to go ahead and see that depth spot starting to get filled. And then obviously we'll be keeping an eye on Josh Jobe as well. But yeah, for me, it's Zach McPherson when it comes to the cornerbacks.
He says, is Nagata going to be that third option for the offense? No, because the third option is Goddard. And then the fourth option is probably going to be Swift. So then the fifth option is going to probably be Quez. So you're looking at that guy Nagata, if he makes the team, is looking at like the sixth, seventh option for this roster. And then he says, does Quest show up in meaningful time this year? I think so. I think Quest has the best year as an Eagle as he ever had this year. Like he's gonna have his best year this year. Because people are gonna be focused on, how to stop AJ and Smitty, that he's gonna come over the top and he's gonna have some big plays. He's actually gonna make them this year, like we wanted them to make last year, and that's gonna be the next step and the next evolution of this offense to take us to that next level. So it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. That's what's up, man. So give me who scores the first touchdown?
I will say Boston Scott.
Who wins the game? Even though it doesn't matter who wins the game, do you think our secondary?
I'll say Philadelphia Eagles 22 to what's a good preseason score game? 22-13. That's a nice preseason kind of score.
Yeah.
22-13 Eagles beat Ravens.
Are you going to any games this year?
So I'm gonna try to go to. I'm in New York now, but at the end of the day, my
Monday
still.
night home opener against Minnesota, that Thursday night game. I'm going.
Okay, yeah. So I was gonna say I definitely want to try because I'm in New York, bro. I honestly might even go up to New England, bro. I'm gonna try to see how we do. I think that we're gonna be traveling around though in the first for that week of for the month of September. So for the month of September, we're going to be moving around. However, if I end up still being in New York by week 1, I definitely might want to go ahead and catch them play the Patriots. However, though, definitely going to watch them play at SoFi in LA. Going to be with my family there, and then the following week they're going to be in New York. So I'll probably end up making a trip back home just to go ahead and see them play. And then towards the end of the year, definitely want to catch a game at the Link towards the end of the year, as I always do, and then when they play the Giants as well, because again, they're in New York and it's just right across the bridge.
Nice. Well, hopefully I can see you out there at one of these games, man. That'd be tight.
Yeah, we got a link.
Go out there, for sure. Link up there. Man, hey, thanks for again, man. When are we gonna see you back on the screen, my guy? You got anything coming up here?
Let me see. So just got done with this like sci-fi, this this like horror sci-fi film. It's short, but it's going to be a really good project. So I'll go ahead and once we get all the information, because right now they're in post production, but it's a hell of a story, and I'm excited to go ahead and showcase that because I think cinematically it looks beautiful. It's actually about a blind musician, and he kind of ends up going on a bit of a rampage. So it's definitely going to be thrilling there. However, just stick around on my page, guys, because once the previews and all of that information starts dropping, I'll obviously be posting it for you guys.
We're gonna bring back the Beagles.
We're looking to go ahead and come back around, kick off again. So
Let's see the Beagles, my God. Go Beagles. I love that. Love that show.
All right, bro.
All right, well, you have a great one. Thanks for coming out. Salute to all you guys for watching. That's Darius Dalton, this BG31, and we out. Peace.
All right, go Birds.